Kia ora fam. I just got a little message from Source, and they were talking about how there's a closing and an opening happening in the collective. So there's something ending and something beginning for all of us simultaneously. And I was actually getting this vision of a portal. I was getting a vision of actually this book that I've read by Maladome Patrice Sommet, that's how you say his name, a great ancestor, a great spiritual practitioner who has passed now, but in his book of Water and Spirit, I think that's what it's called, he talks about his initiation, and there's a particular part where they are going through the spiritual initiation, and part of it is like to jump through a portal, and this portal is like pretty much a ring of fire, and yes, like a literal ring of fire, and not like one that the elders had set up in like 3D reality. It was in the spiritual realm, and he had to like jump through it, I think, to get to the next stage. So pretty much it was like a trip, but it was like, for me, that's still real. There are different realities, not just this physical one that we have. And as I always say, everything that happens in the spiritual is happening in the physical, vice versa. So yeah, I was seeing him jumping through the portal, and then Source was saying only love will get us through. So into the next stages of our lives, and what we want and what we envision for ourselves, to be able to release this fear or acknowledge the fear and continue to move forward anyway into whatever it is we envision for ourselves. It's gonna require us to move within from our heart space, and this has been a message that's been coming through. I mean, everything always comes back to love a lot of the time, right? Whether it's justice, we're talking about justice, whether we're talking about peace, whether there's conflict, love is really supposed to be the foundation of our actions. And yeah, so I was seeing Source talking about that, like us individually and collectively jumping through a hoop, and it is hard and scary as fuck, but if we are led by our heart space, we'll make it through. And I just heard unsinged as well, so let's see what messages come through in the tarot. But I also just heard timing as a factor, so like the portal will close, and I don't like to be fear-mongering or anything, but we do operate, when we follow Indigenous practices and culture, we operate through the timelines of the star systems and astrology, or whatever you want to call it. If you don't call it astrology, in your Indigenous culture, all of us whakapapa back to somewhere. Our genealogy goes back to somewhere. I think I've spoken about mine. I'm a Khan from Ghana, so we whakapapa back to Sirius. So I encourage, if you don't know about that, to look that up or ask your elders if you can, if you have access to that information. Yeah, but there is a time limit for this particular portal or opening and closing. Yeah. And it is going to require a lot of strength, and some of us might be feeling quite indecisive about where to go. But it's okay for us to take our time to focus on precision and how we're going to get through the hoop, so to speak. But it's important for us to come into our heart space. Guidance and information you have for us on this closing and opening. Now, my phone numbers and conversations do. of this poor collective portal. Guidance and affirmation. 8 of Earth. So I guess this is Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. So this is about focus. This particular card, this person is focused on their mahitoi, on their craft. They're using their hands, and they're away from the distractions of the outside world. So a lot of us are going to have to focus on what do we particularly want to build long-term generationally for ourselves and our ancestors. And I just heard write it down. So a lot of us need to write this down. Pop it on your altar, pop it in, leave it in a journal that's sacred to you. Some of us are also going to have to figure out what our distractions are in this life or in this part of our lives. Like, what are the things that distract you from being focused on your goals and the things that you want to physically achieve for yourself? I'm also being highlighted to the smaller things I have already crafted. So maybe some of us need to pay attention to the things we have already built. I'm seeing some of those things need to be given away, whatever that means for you, or used. Some of us are not utilizing the resources that we have in our very vicinity, or energy, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, to move forward. We have doors and knowns at the base of the deck. So there's also like strong reminders of the protection, the ancestral protection, the cosmic protection. Like I was talking about the star systems, this card always points that out to me with the stars at night, and then this entity, this earth spirit that's watching over. So I'm also seeing, particularly if you're on your whenua, if you're on your land, or if you have some ties to the whenua that you're on and built relationship with it, you will know that for yourself. There's a protection there that you can trust because you've been in harmony with the whenua. Oh look, it's 3 of water, which is like the circle. So there definitely are like some cycles as well. So for some, the ring, the initiation is by water. It's by emotion. It's by the different cycles that we are facing in our lives. Our dreams. So pay attention to your dreams, your night dreams, and your daydreams or visions that you have. Because there's something there that might be coming up for some of us to pay attention to those particular cycles. Could be reflected in the people that are around us as well. What guidance and affirmation do you have for us when it comes to the opening and closing of this collective portal? Yeah, the water element, Zapana, the Hermit, Virgo, 9 of Earth, and 5 of water, Pluto. Okay. So again, leading from our heart space is really, really important. I just heard water birth. So for some, there's something, I was seeing water breaking first. So for some of us, we're about to give birth to something that we've been nurturing. Secondly, I also saw water birth. So not only is the water breaking for something to come through, and for some of that, us, what is coming through is us. We are coming. So I'm really talking from a spiritual perspective here, fam. So for some, you might not understand it, but like some of the things I'm speaking on could be looked at as like, if you want to relate it in a way of like a metaphor is the best way to maybe understand this message if you don't understand the perspective that I'm talking from. But I was seeing like also us being birthed through a womb space. So we're going through the portal and coming out the other side actually. So not only are some of us giving birth to something new and new timeline, generationally, ancestrally, it's also us going through the womb into another dimension or space of time or reality. again, we're really, really protected, but I see our ancestors like sweeping up dis-ease, disease, discomfort, and reminding us that as we're going through this cycle or this phase or initiation, even self-initiation within our emotional body, it's okay. A lot of us are leaving behind emotional loss, but we also might have to flow with the current of our emotions. With this 5 of water and Pluto is quite intense. It's like Scorpio energy, going into the deep waters, and seems to be a bit of fear for us, that we're going to get swept away, and holding on to that last bit of grounding that we have access to. And I'm hearing from our past lives, and when I say that, I don't mean from the life you had before you were whatever name or being you are now. I mean like just the past generally. I'm seeing that it's important for us to let go, because this is just resistance. There's a card, I can't remember which card it is in the Aotearoa deck, the prophecy deck by Akamara Tarot. But one of the quotes on it is like, I think it is that deck, actually I'm not sure, but it talks about like how holding on to the past, or like wanting to stay somewhere that doesn't serve us and is actually not granting us any stability. Like, this branch is going to break. Look how flimsy it is. But some of us are still holding on to that because we're scared of where the current is going to take us. And I'm seeing that Source is saying we need to trust in where the current of our emotions, our intuition, is actually going to take us at this time, even if there is some loss there, even if there is some regret, even if we have to leave something behind that we've acquired emotionally. There's more for us, and if we don't let go of what we need to let go of, we're just causing more strain. I'm seeing that there's a strain on us, some of us, our body. You might feel it in your body, the tension in your body, the tightness in your body. That can be the resistance of letting go. Not necessarily, but it can be if this message resonates. I'm also seeing, yes, it's making you stronger to hold on to something, but at the end of the day, I don't think this thing that you're attached to is beneficial. I also heard appetite, so I don't know what that is referring to. I don't know if some of you'll have an appetite for something, or appetite for something in the past. I don't know. 9 of Earth. So where we're being led to and outside the womb space, once we're birthed into this, come through the other side of this initiation, there's a beautiful horizon. And I think a lot of us, or some of us, are leaving behind certain people, because this person here would rather be feet on the ground, soil, planting the seeds that they have acquired in their kete, their basket. They're all in green, so they're wearing their heart space. Wearing your heart on your sleeve actually is looking like it's actually an important thing for us to do, and to know that we can wear our heart on our sleeve and be protected at the same time. I'm also seeing this person, or in this card, this person would rather be alone than be surrounded by drama. And it's the next card. So we have, and the tarot things go in order, as I always say. So 8 of Earth to 9 of Earth. So the process of you or us focusing on our craft, what we're achieving, using our hands to create physically, our time, using our resources to create physically what we want for ourselves long term, what we know is going to be stable for ourselves, the next generation, community, whatever. This is leading us to just more independence, more self-sovereignty. And I feel like some of us are a bit scared of that self-sovereignty and what that's going to look like, because we're so used to codependence. There's also something about the soils being turned up and ready for seeds to be planted. Also, for some of us, again, metaphorically speaking, fam. So like, what seeds, what things do you want to plant in your life, or what have you acquired through the knowledge in the past? How can you take the physical, tangible steps and actions in your day-to-day to make those things grow in your life? There's also Two of Earth at the base of the deck. This is like this beautiful mystical creature coming out of the shadows and allowing themselves to be seen authentically for who they are and their self-expression, even if they feel weird, even if they feel out of place. There's reminders here that, fam, like where we're going, we are not out of place, even if we feel or look it to some degree. We are coming out of a place of deeper intimacy, cosmic, divine intimacy with spirit. And as that has been rooted, or as that has been nurtured, I'm seeing like we're ready, we're going to be ready to come out. Like again, it's that birthing, coming out of the shadow, coming out of te po, coming out of te kore. And I think I spoke about that in a reading before, te kore and te pore, the void, the nothingness, and then te po being, te kore being the things when things start to be created out of nothing, and there's that brewing, there's that stirring in the spiritual realm. So I'm seeing that for us collectively. I also heard things will take time. 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, Earth cards in the tarot are quite slow. So this could take like 8 months to 9 months, you know. Could be the cycles that we have gone through in the last 8 to 9 years of our lives that are coming to a close. For some of you, you're going through your Saturn's return or coming out the other end of your Saturn's return. So that would be where Saturn was when you were born. It only comes there like twice in your life. And the first time, I think, obviously when you're born, and then the second time would be around 20, 27, 28, 29, 30, around there, when you're that age. So if you are that age, I'm seeing that's significant. I also hear it's important for us not to be afraid of speaking. Yeah. Guidance information to have. We have the couple, so Gemini. There's definitely a choice involved, and 6 of Fire. And this choice is leading us to success, 9 of Fire. But there is a need for us to detox, let go of past attachments, really hone in on what our ancestors are wanting for us, and releasing resistance, emotional resistance to that. I read something the other day that was saying like, it was actually, they're on Instagram, they're called Mummy Ravi, or Mama Ravi. They are Nigerian Ifa practitioner. They wrote something in one of the star sign like short readings that they did, and I think it said it's not more motivation you need, it's actually emotional, like something like, I'm paraphrasing, like emotional harmony, something to do with the emotional body. So some of us might feel like we need more motivation, like physical, like fire and passion, but it's actually not. It's actually more of us needing to focus on our emotional body and our emotional healing and expression. So yeah, again, the success is available for us. And if you're for some of you, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do, but if you want to join our new moon ritual, that's going to be on Friday. This is the card we are focusing on, Six of Fire. So activating determination, activating success, activating abundance and wealth for us in alignment with our divine ancestors and our own individual DNA and story and destiny, purpose, whatever that is. And again, it's a choice for us to access this. It's a choice for us to access this side of our ancestral inheritance, because parts of our ancestral inheritance are not always positive. Sometimes they're neutral storylines that we continue to repeat or walk through. But I'm seeing Source significantly saying, like, it's a choice for us to access the success. So what do you choose? You know, if you want to be successful, you have to make the decision that you are and that you are going to be, you know. And so for some, this is going to take some mahi, some work, some cutting out of things, taking a break from things that, again, the distractions. You might need to go into ceremony with your ancestors for like a week or 9 days. Light some candles. Yeah, some of you should, I would say, be joining our full moon ritual, our new moon ritual, sorry, or need to get into some ceremony at your altar with yourself. I'm also seeing, like, in this particular card, it talks about the masculines going and rescuing the feminine, and this isn't in a toxic patriarchal way. This is in a way of, we're coming back to the Gemini, the harmony between our own so-called masculine and feminine. The feminine being our emotions, our intuition, our receiving. The masculine being our actions, our goals, our drive, right? So that harmony, sometimes we are just focused on the masculine, which is like go, 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 get, what can I do in the physical. Sometimes we're just focused on the feminine, which is receiving, only feeling our emotions and forgetting the practical side and the action that we need to take, right? So Source is saying it's a choice for us to balance these things and communicate, because Gemini is a very communicative energy. Communicate with ourselves what needs to come into harmony, how we can work together, bring those core parts of ourselves together, because for some it's the masculine energy. We need to use our drive, our desire, our motivation, so to speak, which I said we have access to. Use that to channel it to rescue, quote unquote, our feminine energy. So come back and bring back your feminine energy. I really heard self-neglect before. Some of us are neglecting our emotions, and it's also not to blame yourself. Take accountability for yourself, but I'm seeing it's also because of just the systems, the powers that be, that teach us to do that, right? So be compassionate with yourself, but this is a time for you to bring that balance in and jump through that portal. Yeah, this card, Eight of Water, always talks to me about the powers that be, the constructs, the systems within society that are a bit poisonous, because I look at this like ship, and I think of like oil leaks, and I think of cruise ships, and I think of shit that is just not, in my opinion, can be harmful for the environment. And then when I look at this figure, this octopus, I think of a big ancient spirit, kaitiaki. I also got the word tohunga, which is priest, I think, in Te Reo. So just Googling this. An expert practitioner of any skill or art, either religious or otherwise. Tohunga includes priests, expert priests, healers, navigators, carvers, builders, teachers, and advisors. So this is who this reading is for. This is for those that want to initiate into priesthood in whatever culture that may be, ancestral practitioners. You might not be there right now, but you know in yourself whether you are this. Healers, navigators of the sea as well, like actually people that go into the sea, like physically, carvers, physical carvers and builders, teachers of whatever spiritual practice tied with the physical, right? And advisors. This is for all of us, this reading. But I was seeing like our spirit, our ancient spirit of our ancestors, the kaitiaki within our different cultures and traditions, supporting us to break down these constructs that no longer serve us, and also supporting us to break down the constructs and systems, structures that be the powers that be around us, to doing it together. Yeah, because some of this is causing us, it's causing a lot of stress, animosity. There's some things that we need to release, and it's attached to some of us abandonment wounds or childhood hurt or past hurt or neglect and stuff. Yeah, the moon, Seven of Swords, and also causing like deceit, like telling ourselves lies about ourselves when that's not who we are. So I'm seeing a lot of us need to affirm strongly who we are, who we know we believe we are, who we've come from. You will know who you are if you look at your ancestors to see who they were. So don't deny yourself of that power, because it's honestly beautiful. It's only the systems and the powers that be that try to get us to distort that image of ourselves and try to take our power away from us, because they don't want us to be powerful, right? Because that means that their systems will be destroyed, which is what we want. Thumbs up. And then we have Issue, which is perfect for this, and we have salamanders too. Issue is perfect because Issue is the Orisha, the Yoruba, Nigerian Orisha of the crossroads. Issue is the epitome of going through, fearlessly going through the portal, going through the initiation, taking us and guiding us through the initiation as well. And Issue is fearless. Issue will just make things look like it's magic when it's not. It's actually Issue is very smart, and that's why he is able to be depicted as or called the trickster, because he knows the different sides of the crossroads. He can also make things look upside down and a little bit askew, but they're not. So it's in our best interest to make sure that we are working with our atua, our orisha, our traditional cultural spirits of the crossroads. Who are they? The ones that take you from one end to the other. And if you know Issue already, you will know that. So Issue is someone that we will probably, we always work with, but we will be working with, just gently calling upon. I'm not a priest, Ifa initiate myself, but we always make sure that we acknowledge Issue anyway when we're doing our ritual. I think that this new moon ritual coming up on Friday will also be a sort of, well, they always are, but a crossroads. I'm actually getting the tohu right now, the message to start a crossroads ritual, personal ritual for people that want it. So I'll try and put that up soon. It's commonly called like a blockbuster, pretty much when the challenges are taken down in order to continue to move forward. But anyway, I'll pop that up when I have the time. But I'm seeing that that's leading us to a stronger position of mentorship. Some of us are meant to be guides and mentors for other people, but because we're so scared of taking on that position and leadership role, we're stuck, you know. And again, this particular portal that I'm talking about is going to close. It will obviously open again later, but it's important for us to follow the tohu of the stars, the moon, the sun, what is happening, because that's what we have always done. So even if you don't believe exactly in star signs, I'm going to be honest, the reason that I use star signs on here is just to commercialize my mahi, to get more people to see it, because people love a star sign reading. But it's not really about the star signs, it's just about the frequency that you're resonating with and taking and eating and digesting the message that is meant for you. So yeah, tricked you. Nah. But that's why I use the star signs, just to get my message out there a little bit further for the people that are blocked by you know, I feel like a lot of people won't watch things if it's not, it doesn't have a, this is for the Pisces and this is for the blah blah Capricorn, you know. But I think a lot of us need to get past that, so that might be a sign for some of you. Anyway, following this initiation process, we will be embodying the fire ourselves. This card is the card of someone that also either needs to receive mentorship and therapy, also gives it. I'm seeing it comes from a divine confidence. It comes from our ancestral life force that is fueled. So we're becoming the life force. We're embodying the life force of our ancestors. And a lot of us are being challenged to fully let it take over our spirit, our wairoa, our sumsum, our path and who we are. And I think this is going to look a lot different in this embodiment for some of us. But that's what it's meant to look like. It's meant to be different, you know. I'm also seeing shape-shifting. I think this card, Salamanders, is linked to shape-shifting. So we might be able to embody different energies at different times. And I'm also seeing our ancestral life force going through this initiation period is really going to help us be unseen from negative forces. It's like they're made up of flames. How can you touch that? You're going to get burnt, right? You can still see them. You know that they're there. But if you go and put your hands on them, you're going to get burnt. And that is literally what ancestral protection is, whānau. I'm going to keep saying ancestral journey is not just love and light and hippie fairies and blah, blah, blah. It's actually really hard. It's really hard. And it's not always, but there are seasons that are very, very difficult. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's ancestral. It's things that have been done time and time and time and time again, a lot of the time, that we're trying to break. That's what we call generational curses, or let me say patterns, right? So I'm seeing some of us will need mentorship through this, and some of us will be the mentors, or it might be like a little bit of give and take. So I'm going to leave that message there because we're on 30 minutes. If you want to join our new moon ritual, that's on Friday. That's up on our website. Our website is down below, nyamejira times houseofafi.com. If you want some personal ritual done for you, we do return to senders, cord cuts, we do activating wealth and abundance, money, and also our Ankh life force ritual, which is about this ancestral life force, activating our ancestral life force and spirit so it can carry us, protect us, and lead us.